What is up, Light Fam? It is David, your spiritual awakening coach, here to help you through your spiritual awakening. 3 steps to uncover a narcissist. Now, this is by no means a comprehensive list. There's definitely a lot more that goes into determining whether someone is a malignant narcissist or not. And I do want to make that distinction. Malignant narcissist. We all have narcissistic traits, but there's a difference between normal, typical narcissistic traits and a malignant narcissist who may have NPD or narcissistic personality disorder. But these 3 questions, critical questions that you can ask of your relationship is a great way to start looking out for those red flags that may entail that you are dealing with a malignant narcissist. So let's get into the video. Number 1, do they play the perpetual fragile victim or martyr that, according to them, no one appreciates or understands their sacrifice? All right, guys. So this is a huge one. You've got to remember that the malignant narcissist self-image does not come from self. It doesn't come from within. It comes from what other people think of them. So yes, they do have this grandiose image, but it's a very fragile image because it's completely based off of whether or not people are buying the BS that they're selling about them. So when they're always acting like the helpless, fragile little victim, the martyr, the saint that's always being picked on, that no one understands, that's something bad is always happening to them, and they're so innocent regardless of what they've done, not only is it an attempt to maintain this image of innocence, but it's also a manipulation tactic because it's meant to guilt you into doing something that you wouldn't normally have done for them if they haven't guilted you into doing it. So if they can make you feel bad for how you made them feel, even though it was their fault, they may guilt you into serving them in some way. And because that self-image is so important, what others think about them is so important, don't be surprised if they go to mutual friends and family and run a smear campaign on you, where they look like the innocent victim, the helpless victim, the martyr, and you're the bad guy. They're innocent, you're the bad guy, and now, you've got these mutual friends and family wanting to gang up on you because they're believing the nonsense that this narcissist is telling them when you were never at fault in the first place. Number 2, when you confront them on their manipulative behavior, do they gaslight you? All right, guys, so this one is huge. Gaslighting and blame shifting are the hallmarks of the malignant narcissist. Remember, we just said that grandiose image is completely on the foundation of whether or not other people believe that image. It's not self-generated. So any information to the contrary of that image is a threat to survival to the narcissist. So in other words, being wrong, being held accountable, they did something wrong, that's out of alignment with the grandiose image that they have of themselves. And that is a threat to survival for the malignant narcissist. Being wrong to the malignant narcissist, they actually go back and experience those traumatic abandonment wounds from childhood. Abandonment trauma is the leading cause of malignant narcissism. There are other causes, but that's the main one. And so when they have to admit that they're wrong, they can actually feel all of those traumatic feelings from childhood, which may have caused them to be a narcissist in the first place. So who's in charge of the identity? The ego. The ego is in charge of survival. So they literally go into fight or flight when that grandiose identity is challenged. If they're wrong, then they're not as grandiose as they're trying to make you believe, and they literally go into fight or flight. So this is why you will never see a narcissist take accountability or admit that they're wrong. Hey there, do you like videos on narcissism awareness? How about empath empowerment? What about healing trauma, dark night of the soul, ascension symptoms, spiritual awakening? We have all of that and more here at Lightways. Please click the subscribe button if you like that type of content. Please click the notification bell so you're notified when I drop a new video. Also check out the playlists which are the topics that I just mentioned. And if you know anyone that likes this type of content, please share it with them. Okay, on to the third step of uncovering a narcissist. Number 3, when you confront them on their manipulative behavior, do they get vindictive and or aggressive? All right, guys. So remember when I said any contradiction to the grandiose image that they have of themselves is viewed as a threat to survival. So them admitting wrongdoing really is death to them. It's like cornering a wild animal. The only direction that they have to go is forward. So when you're confronting a malignant narcissist about their behavior and they're in fight or flight, they almost always choose fight. And so this is where you're going to possibly run into some physical aggression, definitely some verbal abuse and toxicity. All the histrionics are going to start because their self-worth and their self-value is based off of whether or not other people believe this image, especially their narcissistic supply, which is you. You got to believe me. You got to believe that I'm innocent. You got to believe that I'm this person that I'm trying to sell you. You got to believe it. Otherwise, I'm going to die. That's what's going on in their mind. You got to remember that the malignant narcissist is really a mutated codependent, meaning they need you more than you need them. They need you to believe this image that they have of themselves because they don't generate their own image, or they don't sustain that image. They don't generate their own self-worth and value because it's based off of whether or not you believe their image. So of course they don't want you to know that they need you more than you need them. That's the trick. But if you know it, then you can look out for the abuse and get that nonsense out of your life and make room for someone who is actually mentally healthy. And that might actually be a mutually beneficial. Let's try a mutually beneficial relationship. All right, guys, I hope that this has helped make you more aware of whether or not you could possibly be dealing with a malignant narcissist in your relationships. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Namaste.